Hello, old school developers! Today it's time to integrate emails into our Spring Boot application. Today we are going to add Spring Boot Starter mail. We are going to add, I think, green mail for our integration tests, and probably we'll need FreeMarker to render our email templates. My name is Dima. I'm a software engineer with almost 15 years of experience. Here I am showing the development process from the scratch, including all my errors, all the bugs, and I'm showing how I'm solving these problems, writing the integration tests. Those who watched my previous streams can confirm that I found an enormous amount of bugs using integration test, and it's super useful. Also, I debugged some code and so on, so you can see how the experienced developer works in the same way as on my daily job. So welcome to my channel. Let me quickly remind you what we are doing here. We are building car maintenance tracker application. The backend is the Spring Boot application. The database is PostgreSQL. We added Redis. This is the distributed cache to our application on the previous stream. I will explain the flow soon. Yeah, so the project is open source. You can open the project, clone it, and so on. And on the previous stream, we discussed the login flow for the ChatGPT. So the idea is that ChatGPT will be our front end. So you can provide open API specification to the ChatGPT, and it will know how to make the request to your server. And to make the login process secure, in order to avoid passing the password by user into the ChatGPT, because it's huge security issue, I decided to switch the login flow in the following way. So the ChatGPT will make the request to the server and ask, log me in by the email. The server will generate the auth token, some random number, for example, and store it into the Redis. That is what we implemented on the previous stream. And today we are going to implement this part. So the code is generated, and we want to send this auth code to the user email. User will copy this auth code to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will make one more request to our API and ask, please exchange this auth code to JWT token here. And using this token, it will be able to make the request, to add the cars, to add some maintenance related information, and so on. So that is the idea, and today we are going to implement this part. So let's do it quickly. So we will need to add the starter with the emails. Let's put it here. So this is the dependency, Spring Boot Starter mail. Yeah, here it is. IntelliJ throws the errors as usual. So it is downloading the dependency. And as far as I remember, we need to add some configuration about the emails. IntelliJ, stop it. Mail. So what we need to provide is the host. We need to provide the port and so on. So let's take a look. For example, Gmail, SMTP settings. So this is just as an example. So we can use a lot of different things. For example, we can use AWS. They have a CAS service. We can use Outlook. We can use Gmail, whatever you want to use. So we just need those configurations. So it's just an example. Maybe I will put it under the local profile. I'm not going to push it to the GitHub repository, I think. So just show you the idea how it should look like. So this is the host, this is the port. We need to enable SSL because it's the SSL port. This is the SSL port. Maybe this we need to use this one. So, and we need to provide the username, for example, my email, gmail.com, and the password. This is what you can generate actually. This is Gmail password generator for SMTP. Yeah, there is a possibility to generate application passwords in the Gmail. So you should not use your own password here. You need to generate the password there according to this guide and use it in your application. So no direct passwords here. Yeah, this is, we will test it later a little bit. Today I will show you how to test it using the integration tests. This is our OS controller. As you remember, yeah, this is the method to generate the and send OS code. So we implemented the generated part. By the way, why is it? This is the magic numbers, right? So OS code min value, and this is the OS code max. Maybe even without value looks a little bit better, right? Yeah. Let's go back. So the idea is to store the code and send it asynchronously. Let's implement some package email, maybe email, and let's implement the email service here. So this is the service. We need to inject some bean. What is the bean? Is, as far as I remember, it's a mail sender or something like that. Yes, this is the Spring Bean. It's added by it should be added by Spring Boot Starter mail, no? There is nothing, okay. Let's quickly Google starter mail guide. I like this site, as you already know. That is what we don't need actually. So this is the configuration as we did. By the way, those properties are useful for the authentication. So this is the port we used, and we need to say that TTLS enabled. So I can edit right here. So it's my password, and this is the properties, and we can say that SMTP OS true and enable and start the TLS. Okay, that's right. But it should be created automatically, shouldn't it? It's really strange. Java mail sender, and what I inject, this, yeah. But okay. Emails with attachments. But what about beans? It should be created automatically. Declaration. Yeah, that's my classes only. Okay, where is the mail starter? Okay, here it is. Nothing to read here. It should be after configured, I think. Okay, let's keep it like this at this moment and implement the sending method. Void send, and here we expect some auth code and the email, right? That is what we want to send. It's really strange. So I included this dependency, I added the configuration. I think maybe because this configuration is in the local profile, maybe it cannot understand that it's there. Okay, we will test it. Never mind. Maybe. Let's add the green mail. I use this dependency for the tests. We can check using the green mail which email was sent actually. Dependency green mail JUnit 5. I think that is what we need actually. Let's take a look what is the latest version. Maven repository. Here it is. It's almost the latest one. Almost. Okay, so let's extract it to the properties. I like to have all the versions to be here. All right. Let's take a look how to use it. Green mail, Java, Spring maybe. This is the example. Let's take a look. Some tests should be here. Yeah, here is the declaration of the mail service. So it's some kind of the mail server that is started together with the tests. So, and yeah, that is the user credentials. Let's take a look quickly. So we have the auth controller test, I think. And let's define it here on the top of the class. Okay. SMTP server. Yes, that is what we need. With the user, this is the email, login, and password. Okay, so let's copy those settings to the test settings because it will be applied during the test execution, right? And this is the Spring, mail, and so on. So it should be the local host, I think. What else? What else? What is the port? It's interesting. This is the port actually we need here as well. And let's take a look if we can specify the port with the user, login and password. This is the email. Is there something like this? Preload dir, disabled authentication. I think we need to check how the authentication works in our case. So this is the server setup, SMTP IMAP. So SMTP, this is the port. Not sure. Let me take a look. I have some examples in my another project. Let me remember, where is it? Should be here, I think. Yeah, so this is the email and the password. Do I have something else to configure? So that is how we can retrieve the messages from the server. Okay, and what is in the properties? Aha, here it is. This is the port, I think. Oh, come on. No, those properties. This is the port. We need to specify the user and the password. Yeah, the settings would be a little bit different, but we need to check the general logic that email is sent and so on. So let me take a look. What is the email here? Full localhost. Okay, let's full PVD. So this is the username. This is the password, I think. Okay, and we need to define the email of the user. So we used the login. Yeah, we use this email everywhere, so maybe it makes sense to use it here as well. Maybe we can try to extract it to the email. And let's define create new constant email. Too many emails right here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So this is the email, and this is the configuration. That is how we can log into our GreenMail server. So, and we have the success pass test, and inside of the test, we need to check that email is sent. So we can ask the GreenMail to get the messages, find get received messages. I think that is what we need. So, and we need to check that there is at least one message here. All right, and we need to send email in our service, I think. Let's try to send something. New simple email, new simple mail message. What? Okay, so we need to specify the from email from. That is our email, actually. Our email. So we need to create some email properties maybe and inject it through the configuration. Email properties. So this is the component, this is the configuration properties, and let me copy paste properties. Car maintenance tracker, email from, no, just email, and we will specify that it should not be null, it should be valid email, and we can define the from property here, and it should have the getters, setters, constructor, and so on, and it should be validated during the startup to check quickly if this property is not set properly. And yeah, what I wanted to specify, maybe it makes sense to do something like that. This is the email from, and we can say that take this variable from the environment variables, just to be sure that we didn't forget anything here. And for the tests, we can override it, maybe. We can override it. Car maintenance tracker, email from. That is our email, actually. One moment. It's not correct. This is the user email. And here we need to define the service email. That is email we are going to use to send the emails. This is the service, I don't know, gmail.com, whatever. greenmail.com, something like that. So, and we want to use this email right here. This is the service email. And we are going to send the email from this one to this one. This one is the user, this is the service. Okay, so, and we need to specify this URL in our test. We want to send the emails from this email. Okay, looks good. And let's go back to our service and let's take a look how to send the emails. Maybe it would be faster to copy and paste it. Mail sender. This is the that is bin definition, by the way. That is what I think you can see it better. That is the properties, and that is how the mail can be created. Yeah, in the same way as we did, to be honest. So let's inject the email properties here. Email properties, and we can take the email properties from to, this is the email, subject, login request, maybe, to car maintenance tracker. We can extract this text, if to be honest, but for the simplicity, let's keep it like this. So your auth code is, so we want to include it here. Auth code, super simple email. And I think we need to use the mail center is the interface. Yeah, like this. And yeah, let's test it without async at this moment. And I will talk about the async a little bit later. So we need to inject the email service right here. Email service, not the service, it's email service. And once it's stored to the Redis, I want to send it. So this is the recipient email. Recipient email. Now it's is it correct? I hope so. And the auth code, it's long here. Let's use long value. Why not? This is the long, and this should be digit. Yeah, let's try to start our test actually and take a look what is here. I will set the breakpoint. Okay, test is starting. Okay. it looks good. Do you think so? There is no exceptions, so that means our email service worked and the bin, this bin was able to be injected. As you can see, IntelliJ say there is no mail sender bin, but it's there. I think it's because we didn't define the properties. Okay, let's take a look what is here. It's the most interesting part. So what we can see here is there is some headers. Would be interesting. Maybe content stream. Let's take a look. Oh, there is the subject. Inbox folder. There is even the inbox folder. It's interesting. And there is a method to wait for incoming email. It looks good. Yeah, that I wanted to copy paste it from my another project. I think I extracted the content, etc. And it would be easy to copy and paste it right here. We can check the content, we can check the subject, recipients, and so on. So that is what we already have. So recipients, this should be the user email. Okay, and this should be our subject. That is what login request. Okay, and how to get the most interesting thing. I want to check the content, maybe get content object. Really? We need to take a look what is inside. Content object sounds super interesting. Okay, why content is object? It should be string. It's string actually. What if I write something like that is equal to this one? Actual and there it's strange, if to be honest. So why is it object? I have no idea, but it is as it is, you know. Starts, no, contains. We don't know what the code is it, so we can check by the we can try to use something like a string. It's cool. Contains or starts with. Starts with. That is what we need actually. We want to check that it starts with the following, right? And I want to check that the last is there something like last characters? No. Is digit? No. Okay, let's do it in different way. There is a method. What I want to check is that the auth code is present here and that it's a digit, some digit value. Maybe we can use the regular expression pattern, contains pattern. Okay, let's try it like this. What if I say that it should be the digit of 4 characters? Contains pattern. We need to play a little bit with it. No, I don't remember how to. Java regular expression digits. How to check the digits? Yeah, that is what I need. So I want to check. Yeah, I want to check that the string starts with the following text. Then there is a digit for symbols length, and at the end of the string. So as far as I remember, our code contains of 4 digits. Yeah, that's right. Let's try once again. Okay, looks super good. And for maybe for those cases when the code should not be generated, we need to check that there is no email sent. Green mail, get received messages, and we need to say that there is nothing. Received messages is empty. This is the different method, right? So let's start everything. I want to create the branch, the emails, maybe email integration. Email integration. Okay. What's wrong? It's trying to. I understand. This is the. Okay. Looks like we refactored something in a wrong way. Aha. Yeah, this is the problem. And this is the problem. And that is correct. And maybe I think we need to clean up the mail server before each test, right? Do I have something like that? No? Let's take a look what happens. But I think we need to clean up the messages because I expect no messages right here and one message here, and those tests should be independent, right? So as you can see, it's not empty. Let's try to clean it up. Clean after all, after each. How to clean it up? Oh, reset. Maybe that is what I need. It should reset the mail server and delete all the messages and make my test independent. It's not empty, right? Yeah, there was some message. Okay, green mail, clear messages. How to clean it up? Okay, reset is not what we need actually. Stop, start, no. Purge, that is what we need, I think. Come on! How to delete the message here? It's still one message. We are going to delete after each test. Why? It makes me crazy. Wait for incoming email. With permitted life cycle. Oh, yeah, maybe that is what we need to set into the configuration. Method, no. With permitted life cycle. One more try. If to be honest, I don't have this code in my another project. I just check that the mail is sent and that's it. There is only one test. It's strange, really. Is there something to... Aha! Get mailbox and delete all messages. Maybe that is what we need, actually. Get managers, get folder, okay. Is there some documentation? Specify when mail should be set up and down before and after each method. Yeah, that is what I need actually. But why the messages is not cleaned up? Or maybe we send the email. Maybe we have a bug. Let's take a look. Post service. Let's set the breakpoint right here and take a look. We need to run it. We need to run it in debug mode. I want to run everything. What test is it? This is the success. Should not be. Sorry, I'm stupid. The code should not be regenerated. When two requests made with the same email, the code should not be regenerated. So the first request should be fine. So we need to say extracted maybe. This shortcut doesn't work in Windows. It makes me crazy. Maybe it no sense to check everything. So in this test we make the request and send the auth code first time, and here we should check that mail is sent and one code is already into the in the Redis, and after that we are going to send one more auth code, and then I want to check that new code was not generated and user should wait. So here I want to check that there is still one email, no new emails was sent. That's right. So what we added here, all tests are green. So we added new property here. We added new properties in test as well. We added new tests. That is not necessary, I think. Okay, all right. What is here? Let's take a look. Extracted constants, injected the email service, and called the send method here. Created the properties, created super simple method to send the email, and added the dependencies. Okay, so let's make our first commit. Add email, send us code email. Okay. It's strange commits, if to be honest. I created the branch from the main. Okay, and never mind. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to send the email asynchronously, because I think we should not wait while email will be sent. It can take time. We just want to use the async annotation. This is the Spring, some kind of magic. The Spring creates the proxy and executes this piece of code in the separate thread. So, but to configure the async behavior, we need to create one more little configuration, I think. I put it into the command. So this should be async config. White noise. Okay, this is the configuration, and we need to say that enable async. And maybe we need to specify the thread pool for the async. Spring async default thread pool. Let me take a look. Enable async. By default, Spring will be searching for, okay. Let's take a look what is default behavior. By default, async annotation, okay. Is there something about the thread pool definition? By default, Spring will be searching for associated task executor. If there is nothing found, simple async task executor will be used to process async method invocations. So what is this? You can read task. Not sure if it is visible good enough. So it's the implementation that fires up a new thread for each task, executing it asynchronously. So we want to limit. As you can see, this implementation does not reuse threads. This executor does not participate in context level lifecycle management. So we need to create our own task executor. Spring async task executor. My favorite site. So we enabled async, and I think we need to create the, where is the executor? Here it is. This is something simple. I want to have a fixed size thread pool executor. Yeah, amount of the course, prefix, and so on. Yeah, maybe it's what we need. Maybe take a look on the Spring documentation. Yeah, thread pool task executor. That is what we need, I think. Okay, this is the bean, thread pool task executor. So it should be the instance of the task executor. So many things. Thread factory. Let me read it quickly once again. Thread pool. It's searching for the task executor or executor. And this should be task executor or executor. Implements smart life cycle, thread factory. As you can see, okay. Yeah, that is what we need. Task executor. Let me take a look. I think I have something already. As usual, you know, it's a common way to copy paste it from your previous projects. Localization, REST. No, I don't think I don't have anything. It's unfortunately. Okay, Spring, boot, async, thread, pool, configure. Maybe I can configure it in the properties. Okay, this is the how it can be executed. Yeah, this is the executor. Yeah, that is what we need actually. It's the same. I was confused because of the, you know, because the method returned the concrete implementation. Okay, so I want to make it configurable as well. So as usual, I want to add some properties. I like the configuration properties, as you already know. So this should be the component, configuration properties. Let's take a look. This is the first part. And some async. We need to specify all of this. All of this. Right here, maybe. Little magic from IntelliJ. Okay. This should be the private int. This is core pool size. Private int max pool size. Queue capacity. And this should be the string, like this. And maybe we need to make it integer because I want to say that all of those properties cannot be null, and minimum maybe is 0, just to reduce some errors in the config. And this should not be blank. Okay, this should start with the small letter. Yeah, looks good. And we need to add some default configuration maybe in our application YAML. Application YAML. This is the async. Core pool size. What else? Max pool size. Queue capacity. And the okay, so this is the car main maybe car maintenance tracker async. This is the prefix. What values are here? Yeah, the queue is quite small. Let's use it. We can always override those values in the production. So maybe we can use some values that we want, but on the production we can always reconfigure everything. So maybe we can inject it right here. Async properties, and this is the get core pool size, properties get max pool size, properties get queue capacity, and properties get prefix. Yeah, that's right. And let's go back to our email service, and this should be executed in the asynchronous way. And let's take a look if our tests are still working. I think we will need to wait a little bit until the email will be sent, because you can see maybe we will get some failing tests, as you can realize. There is nothing, and there is some method wait for incoming email, and how many emails we are going to wait for. So we want to wait for one email here, and we are going to wait for one email here. And that is how asynchronous behavior can be tested using the green mail. That's right. So let's push it to the branch. Let's take a look what we added. So this is the properties of our thread pool. So we said that we want to send the emails asynchronously in the separate thread, but the amount of threads is it's a maximum, and by default there are 2 threads that can be used by default. And if there is no free thread to handle your task, there is a queue of capacity 500, and your task inserted into the queue, and will be waiting while for free thread. So this is the idea. Yeah, we adjusted the tests. We uncommented the async. Okay, send emails in async way. And let's try to add free markers super quickly, because as you already realized, this text is not what we want to send in the very end. We want to get some HTML, if to be honest. And let's try to add the free marker. This is the template engine. There are a lot of them, but I prefer free marker because I remember the syntax more or less. That is the only one reason, if to be honest. Starter free marker. And maybe we can try to ask ChatGPT to generate something for us. I mean, the email template, I'm too lazy to write the HTML by my hands. My project should be here. We want to open the codex. I don't want to allow codex to do anything without my approval. Check email service and create nice email template using free marker. Instead of using rough string in the email body. Let's take a look what ChatGPT will generate for us. I do not expect a lot from ChatGPT, to be honest. in my experience, you need to define some code style, how your application should look like. Sometimes it can generate, something really good, but in the most cases, you need to, for the better result, I would say, you need to create the structure and say, hey, please take a look. I did the same in right here and here and here, and implement this logic in the following way and follow the code conventions I already defined, and so on. And in a such way, you can get a better result. I'm working out how to add free marker based template. It even changed the class. Okay, proceed. So it added the configuration, free marker config. This is the email. Okay. Failed to create parent directory. There is no permissions. Okay. Yeah, I don't plan to give you a lot permissions. Yes, proceed. Create the folder for the templates. And yeah, create the file. Maybe I am wrong, but free market templates should be iftlih. We will see. Okay, what we will get from the ChatGPT. So this is the email service. It injected the free marker config, and instead of setting the text as we did before, we get the template. This is the path to the template. It should be in the templates folder right here. Not sure that it's the best template. It should be HTML. Add HTML markup to the following class. It should be the HTML. It won't be formatted in the best way. Strip white spaces. I don't think that we are good enough, with this template. But in general, we injected. What does it mean? It's strange. It wanted to add it as a string, I think. So can be like this. But it can be a digital number as well. But okay, let's name it like this. In the best case, this should be in the properties. This should be injected right here. Okay, did he change anything? Multi-part. Okay, let's go. So we need to specify the type of the email in order to say that it's not just pure text, but it's the HTML. Okay. Looks better, I think. Hi, we received a request to sign it to the application name. Use the authentication code below to continue. And this code expires in 5 minutes, but we need to inject it maybe as well. If you didn't request it, you can safely ignore this email. Cheers. Yeah, looks good. Let's add it to here. I want to change my test a little bit. So we want to validate that this string is actually present. And that is the main thing that I wanted to validate. Maybe. Okay, looks good, I think. Yeah, and here we can specify that it's HTML. As you can see, second argument in the method. Let's go back to our tests. That is the most interesting part. Maybe we need to modify our regular expression in the following way. Yeah, we can say that we expect some span, and inside of the span should be our code. No. Aha. That is why the content is object. Let me show you. It could be the string, but can be something different. It's sent. So what is inside of the content? It's my multi-part. And what we can get here? Nothing? Really? We can get parts. Okay, let's take a look. Green mail to content. Okay, body part. How to get it? How to get it? Maybe we can get it in the parts. Get part? No? Get content. The get content stream. Stream utils. Copies to string. No? Let me remember. No. What is the... I think there is some utils. IO utils. IO utils. IO utils. Maybe like this. No. Copy range. Resource loader. Stream util. Yeah, it should work. I need to specify maybe char set. No. I use the stream utils. It should be the same. Stream utils. Limit to string. Okay, no. This one, copy to string, and green mail received message, and get input content. Rough input stream UTF-8. Okay, and if I will get a content stream, there are two parts. Why? Spring mail HTML. Why do we I think this part is not necessary. This one. Why is it multi-part mode? Why is it? We don't need it at all. It's not multi-part. Today's stream takes longer than usual, but I want to finish it, to be honest. Get content. Yeah, I got the HTML as I expected, so it should be good enough. As you can see, ChatGPT just decided that we have a multi-part email, but it's only the HTML inside and nothing else. You need multi-part maybe if you want to send some attachments, then it makes sense. So as you can see, this template was rendered, the values was inserted here. We will check it manually as well, but right now the test is enough, I think. That is what ChatGPT wrote for us. Yeah, it makes sense to rewrite it to the such kind of message. Looks good, I think. This should be okay. I don't think it makes sense to handle such exceptions. Maybe we can extend it a little bit, the message, in order to include the email. Failed to send Oscode email. What's going on? Do the following. Yeah, failed to send Oscode email to this email. Failed to render template. Okay, that's fine. Sorry for that. Let's push our changes. Add free marker to render email templates. Push it. This is the repository. Let's create the pull request. As you remember, we configured very super simple GitHub actions that will build and run the test for us. And if those steps will be green, we will be able to merge our pull request. Just wanted to remind you that the link to the project is in the video, below the video, so you can clone the repository, do whatever you want here, check what I'm writing here, but the only thing is important is to press the start button. It motivates me, and it's also important to write some comment below the video, because it's super important to understand for me what is interesting for you. If I'm writing the interesting things and so on, what you would be interesting to know, what you expect to see here on such kind of streams, and I can adjust my future streams in order to be more useful for people. So let's take a look on the pipelines. Build is green. Tests are running. So it's downloading the test containers for the Redis, for the Postgres, as you can see. It's fast enough. So we have something like 17 tests as far as I remember. All of them should be green. Yeah, build is successful, and I think we will be able to merge our pull request. So the emails are integrated, and we are ready to move to the next step on our next stream. It will be on Monday. And let me remind you what we are going to, how to make it bigger, like this. And we are ready to move to this step. Give me a JWT token by Oscode. So we will need to refactor our existing login endpoint, and the login flow will be finished quite soon. And maybe on the next stream on Monday, we will try to upgrade our Spring Boot application to the newest release. I heard that Spring Boot 4 was released. Spring Boot dependencies. Oh, not this one. Spring Boot dependent. There is nothing. But I read posts on Reddit that the Spring Boot 4 is released. Looks like it's too early, but maybe on Monday we'll find the artifact right here and we will try to upgrade our Spring Boot application. Okay, if you like the content, if you want to see what we will get finally at the very end, how our application will look like, how we will deploy it, how we will integrate it with the ChatGPT and so on, please subscribe to my channel and have a nice day. See you on Monday, guys.